I jokingly asked the alien empress, "Will you marry me?" Her answer was not what I expected. Most humans will never set foot on an alien world, let alone speak to royalty. I was never meant to be the first. My job was simple: translator. Linguistic technician. The lowest rung on the diplomatic ladder. I processed alien dialects, translated incoming transmissions, and corrected the occasional syntax error in the universal speech matrix. Nothing heroic. Nothing special. So, when the Galactic Council summoned a human delegation to the throne world of Elyndra, I wasn't even supposed to be part of the trip. But the Elyndran language, full of harmonics and frequencies that didn't follow human logic, kept glitching the translation software. And I was the one who had been studying it obsessively. That's how I ended up on a shuttle descending through shimmering lavender clouds, gripping my tablet with sweaty hands while trying very hard not to think about the rumors. The Elyndran Empress, Valoria Kaishar, was said to be impossibly beautiful, impossibly powerful, impossibly terrifying, and absolutely not tolerant of disrespect. Just what I needed. Our shuttle landed at the base of a towering crystalline palace that glowed from within like a living nebula. Ambassadors walked ahead, their uniforms pristine, rehearsing protocol under their breath.
Me?
I was just trying not to trip on the silver stairs. We entered the Hall of Harmonies, an enormous chamber with floating platforms, drifting lights, and a massive throne made of pure refracted starlight. Seated upon it was the Empress herself, and the rumors hadn't remotely done her justice. She was tall, elegant, and radiant, her skin shimmering like opal under the lights. Her hair, if it could be called hair, flowed like liquid silver. And her eyes were galaxies. She lifted her hand. The hall fell silent. "So," she said, her voice like a harmonious chord, "these are the humans." I swallowed hard. The ambassadors stepped forward. I stayed respectfully behind them. Everything was going smoothly. Introductions, gifts, diplomatic flattery. Then the translation software cracked. Right in the middle of the chief ambassador's speech. Static filled the hall. Lights flickered. The Elyndran guards tightened their grips on their staff spears. The ambassador turned pale. I felt a dozen eyes on me, silently screaming, "Fix it.
Now."
My hands shook as I stepped forward, bowed awkwardly, and tapped into the array. "One moment, Your Radiance," I said, voice cracking. The translation harmonics misaligned. "I'll, stabilize them." The Empress tilted her head slightly. "You speak our language?" she asked, directly addressing me. My heart jolted. I cleared my throat and replied in Elyndran. Only enough not to embarrass myself. Her lips curved, not quite into a smile, but something close. "Proceed." I adjusted the harmonics, smoothing the frequencies until the software hummed back to life. The hall relaxed. My exhale was so loud the guard next to me raised a brow. "You have skill," the Empress said. "You will stand beside your leaders for the remainder of the audience." My brain short-circuited. "Me? Stand here?" "Yes," she said, as if it were the most obvious thing in the universe. "Beside me." I nearly fainted. And that was only the beginning. The next 3 hours were a blur of diplomacy, negotiations, and cultural exchanges. I answered dozens of linguistic questions, corrected misunderstandings, explained metaphors, and even translated a human joke that nearly caused an Elyndran scholar to cry in confusion. When the meeting finally adjourned, I felt like collapsing. But as the ambassadors prepared to leave, a guard approached me.
"You."
"Human linguist. The Empress requests your presence." My stomach twisted. I followed him through corridors of shimmering crystal until we entered a private chamber overlooking a nebula swirling just outside the palace's force field. The Empress stood alone, her back to me. You handled yourself well today, she said. Thank you, Your Radiance, I said, bowing deeply. She turned.
Do not bow, she said.
Our cultures differ. Your gesture signifies subservience. I do not require subservience, only honesty. Oh, I said awkwardly. I can do honesty. Good, she replied. Then you may relax. Relaxing in front of the most powerful being in 3 galaxies was impossible, but I tried. She studied me, not in a predatory way, more like someone trying to understand a newly discovered species. You are unlike the others, she said. Incompetent. I joked. Audacious, she corrected. I blinked. In a good way or a please don't vaporize me way? Her lips curved again. In a good way. Her presence filled the room, warm and shimmering. It was impossible not to stare. And that's when I made the biggest mistake, or miracle, of my life. In a desperate attempt to break the tension, I blurted, So, Empress Veloria, would you ever consider marrying a human? Silence.
I realized what I had said.
My heart leapt out of my chest, ran into traffic, and died. I backpedaled immediately.
Kidding.
Totally kidding. That was a joke. Humor. Human humor. Please don't imprison me or... Her voice cut cleanly through my panic. Yes. I froze. What? Yes, she repeated. I would consider it. My brain crashed like a corrupted file. She stepped closer. You ask such a question so boldly, with no fear, no calculation, no political motive. Her eyes searched mine. Why? I don't know, I stammered. Nervous impulse? Bad social skills? Near-death experience. She walked around me slowly. Humans, she said softly, are fascinating. You speak truth without knowing it. You reveal intent without meaning to. And you, she touched a finger lightly to my chest, are the first to ask me such a question without seeking power. I didn't think it would be taken seriously.
It was.
We stood in silence, the nebula swirling outside. Finally, she said, I do not take mates lightly. Our bond is sacred and eternal. It is not symbolic. It is not political. It is life-binding. I understand. I murmured, though I really didn't.
You do not, she said.
But you will. I swallowed hard. Empress Veloria. She raised a hand. No answer is required now. She stepped back. But you have awakened a possibility long dormant. I didn't mean... And yet, she said, you did. Her expression was unreadable. You will return tomorrow. Alone. There is more to discuss. I didn't sleep. Every ambassador asked where I had been. Every crew member suspected I was in trouble or being recruited or both. But the next morning, I returned to her chamber. Alone. She stood on a balcony overlooking the alien sky, the wind lifting her silver hair. I asked my council, she began, what they thought of your question. I stiffened. And I whispered. They were horrified. Oh, good, I muttered. She continued. They believe taking a human as a consort is beneath the imperial line. A risk. A diplomatic outrage. And you? I asked. Her eyes glimmered. I believe it is intriguing. I forgot how to breathe. She walked toward me, slow and deliberate. Do you know why the Elyndran Empress does not take suitors? She asked. A joke. And I would answer, maybe one day, I'll ask it again. The universe had shifted, and so had we.